This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be in this factory creating these crazy gum packages. We're going to be making things zoom around to different spots of the factory. It's going to be nuts. There's going to be pipes, there's going to be flames, there's going to be all sorts of beakers and things like that. Today we're talking about Gum Gum Machine. This is for 2 to 4 players from Hutch & Friends. It takes about 30 minutes to play. It's sort of a puzzly memory game. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Gum Gum Machine, what you're trying to do is score 30 points to win down here on the scoreboard, and you'll be doing this by selecting different switches which have you go around all different spots of this big Gum Gum Machine. So how does the game play? Well, the first thing you do is whoever's turn it is, this is a secret thing, you can't see what number it's under, you slide this under a specific color. So I'll say red, I will take this up and say, oh, red is number 5, and then I'll put this back down. And we look for switch number 5, which is right here. Now I must mention that the setup of this game is different every time. Where the switches are, which numbers, some of these, everything's changeable. I'll show you more about that at the end, but keep in mind that this is very different every time you play the game. So switch 5, what you do is you throw the switch and you go down. Now this is a gum. What you're trying to do is get different colored gums and then put a black lid on it to score points. And depending on however many you get, we'll tell you how many points. We'll show you this a little bit more. So you're trying to get different colored gums and then put a lid on top of it. So I come down here and I can decide to take this or not. If I take it, if there's something under here, we would do something special. If not, I just put it in front of me. And then this brings me here. Again, this can be about 6 different things depending on the game that you chose. This one is basically the pressure gauge. We look at how many black lids are out on the board. Right now we see 3, and this is at 3. So that means we actually flip switch 3. So we go here, and now I already have a gray, so I can't take this, but I can choose to take this. I don't have one, I'll take it. Ooh, and this actually tells me to go to this, which is switch 3. So oddly enough, we're gonna keep going. Usually this makes you go into a different spot, and blue will take blue. Oh good, nothing else there. And then we come to here. Now here, interesting thing, I can move one of these screws, and whichever one I move it to, it will tell me where to go. So for example, if I move it here, this is cornered here, so we go to the gear. If I moved it here, we would corner that steam gauge again, which we don't want to do. So we'll go here, and we will activate the gear. So we look at the gear. There's different things here. We start to go down here. Well, I don't have pink yet. I'll take pink. Ooh, and this actually tells me I have to go back to that thing. And back here, so let's put this here, and this is cornering fire. So we come down to fire. I'll take a yellow, which I don't have yet. Ooh, I'll take a green, which makes me go to the blue thing. The blue thing makes me spin this, and we go back to the gear. So now we come to the gear. This is a really long turn, and then we have this black lid. And once you get a lid, even if there's something below it, you stop. There's 2 different ways to score the game. This is the fast game and the slow game. So the top one is 12 points, the top one's 10 points. Remember, you're trying to get to 30 points. So let's play with this one. What you do is you stack them all with the black lid on top, and you basically measure it, and you would see that this hits all the way to the top. So this would be 10 points, and all these would go back in the bag. So anytime somebody scores, you take all of these, you throw them in the bag, and then you reset the board. You always have to make sure there's at least 3 black lids on the board. And so we would refill all these, and I see that there are exactly 3, so this is good, 3. And it'd be the next player's turn. Now I set this up in a sort of fashion that things went kind of crazy. It doesn't often happen like that. Let's show you maybe one more example. Now because the last player went to red, we have to remember for future versions that's 5. Of course you can't take that out, that was from last time. We go here, we go to green, and we go, green is switch 1. Now you notice switch 1, and anytime you do a switch, now next time you do 1, it's gonna be something else. So every other time it does something different. Switch 1 comes down here, that next player would take a pink, they'd take a purple, they'd take a blue, and this tells them to go to the assembly line. In the assembly line, you can see what's up here. Basically, you take 2 gums and you push them through. So there's 1, and there's 2, and that second one should have pushed another one out like that, and you would have gotten a yellow and a pink. If you already have one, which I had a pink, the pink one would go in the bag. You can't have more than 1 of each color. At that point, it would have been the next player's turn. I've just taken off everything on the board just to show you that under these other different logos are the things that I've shown you some of what these do. Gears and flames, the blue thing, sometimes you go to the green thing. And on the green one, basically you spin this, and if any other player has one of these, they basically have to give you one of these colors of your choice. If you already have one, you still take it and throw it in the bag. Basically, you get to steal something from an opponent. Now, I mentioned that the game is quite variable. Easily, the board, what happens is these things come off. This is actually printed on the board, but there are a ton of these things, double-sided, that you could use. Basically, you would put these down to start the game, and so you could see that there are a ton of ways to vary this game as to what goes where. So if you figured out the board at one point, it doesn't matter. Every game is still going to be quite different. You could also vary the things that go under there. Again, different ways to put things there. On the blue and the green ones, there's different ways for that. There's different ones that you could put in here that do different things. Again, different ways to change the game. For this thing, there's actually different items that you could put here. There's a couple of these you could put in here, which changes so you can't memorize the numbers, and those are double-sided as well. Comes with 2 of these, so 4 different ways to play with that, so you can't memorize those. Now this, I showed you the Steam thing. You can flip this over and change this. Essentially, if you have either of the 2, you get a point for each of those if you have them in your hand. This would just send you to a different spot. This just tells you to flip a random switch. So again, different ways to play there. That's pretty much it. You're playing to 30 points, and you're just trying to remember it's a memory game and a puzzle game. Well, there's Gum Gum Machine. I was interested in this one because I like puzzles. I love puzzly games. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Factory Fun, where you're like moving things around and trying to remember things. The game is fun. I found it to be much more fun than, say, what Tom had thought about it. I think it's great for sort of that kid age. 8 to 12-ish is perfect to play them with this. I'm not going to be pulling this out and playing it with my game buddies all the time, but when I was playing it, with younger kids, I did enjoy it quite a bit. Now, you got to be sure that you know that this game is very heavily memory involved. If you don't like memory games, you don't want to remember stuff, this is not the game for you. But if you like puzzles and you like to use your brain to remember things, this is a very unique game. I've never played anything quite like it. I like the fact that when you go certain spaces, you got to remember where they are, and then you see the switch go, and then you know that no one can go to that spot again, and then the next time somebody goes to that spot, it's going to do something different. You got to remember where some of the spots are. So as the game goes on, it becomes more and more interesting. At the beginning of the game, you go through the board and you're getting this stuff and you're getting some points and you're kind of learning what things are, which is huge in this game. The hugest part about this is the replayability, how you can completely reconfigure the board every time you play. So every game is going to be different. So you started to remember where things were, now you don't know. And I like that because it makes the repeat value awesome in this game. Now when you're going through, as the game's going on, you're starting to see these things and you're starting to remember them, time and time again. You're remembering which colors go where. And as the game gets to an end, my favorite part about the game is you're like maybe 8 to 10 points away from victory, and you're going, okay, I just need 3 more different gums and get a lid, and I can win in one turn. How do I do this? Okay, well, this will bring me there. I get this, this, this. And it's planning out the last turn or two. There's a little bit of pressure luck element in some of the items, but there's that thought process and puzzly aspect of it. Otherwise, I really liked the end game of this, trying to get to that end game before everybody else. You can see what everybody's points are, you know how much you need, and you're watching people go. Now, I like it best with 2 players because by the time I can plan a little bit. I can go here, he can go there, I can go, okay, well, after he does this, I can do this. With 3 or 4, with 4 definitely, the board changes so much between turns that it's more random. So if you like more randomness and more craziness, you go with the more players. If you like a little bit more control, you go 2 players. But don't think that you have a whole lot of control. You have some, but there are some randomness factors. But I do like that you can interchange some of the things. The spinner, you can take the random one out and do a little bit different. Some of those other ones where you just get points or take things away from people, you can change those. So you can kind of cater the game to how you like it. So overall, I thought it was fun. It's unique, it's different, it's puzzly, but there is memory involved. If you like those sort of things and you've got the 8 to 12-year-olds that are going to like this thing, I think you'll like it too, and that's Gum Gum Machine.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.